Actuate Biomedicine's Biomedical Knowledge Translation Faucet. Our mission is to bridge the gap between scientific research and practical healthcare applications, ensuring that the latest advancements improve patient care, health outcomes, and public health. Biomedical knowledge translation involves turning cutting-edge biomedical research into tangible solutions for healthcare systems. At Actuate Biomedicine, we specialize in this process, ensuring that scientific breakthroughs reach those who need them most. We host our Learn to Earn sessions every Tuesday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. East African Time. Each cohort participates in an 8-week program designed to guide learners through the 7 stages of biomedical knowledge translation. The 7 stages include exploration, where we identify new research and innovations; evaluation, assessing the potential impact and feasibility; planning, developing strategies for implementation; development, creating practical applications and solutions; implementation, integrating these solutions into healthcare settings; another round of evaluation, monitoring and assessing effectiveness; and finally, distribution, ensuring wide access to the final products. Our learners gain in-depth knowledge and practical skills, empowering them to translate biomedical research into real-world applications. Through our program, we aim to foster a new generation of experts who will drive advancements in healthcare. Join us at Actuate Biomedicine's Biomedical Knowledge Translation Faucet. Together, we can make a significant impact on healthcare and public health. Learn, earn, and contribute to a healthier future. Be a part of the change. Transform knowledge into action with Actuate Biomedicine. Welcome to Actuate Biomedicine's Biomedical Knowledge Translation Faucet. Our mission is to bridge the gap between scientific research and practical healthcare applications, ensuring that the latest advancements improve patient care, health outcomes, and public health. Biomedical knowledge translation involves turning cutting-edge biomedical research into tangible solutions for healthcare systems. At Actuate Biomedicine, we specialize in this process, ensuring that scientific breakthroughs reach those who need them most. We host our Learn to Earn sessions every Tuesday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. East African Time. Each cohort participates in an 8-week program designed to guide learners through the 7 stages of biomedical knowledge translation. The 7 stages include exploration, where we identify new research and innovations; evaluation, assessing the potential impact and feasibility; planning, developing strategies for implementation; development, creating practical applications and solutions; implementation, integrating these solutions into healthcare settings; another round of evaluation, monitoring and assessing effectiveness; and finally, distribution, ensuring wide access to the final products. Our learners gain in-depth knowledge and practical skills, empowering them to translate biomedical research into real-world applications. Through our program, we aim to foster a new generation of experts who will drive advancements in healthcare. Join us at Actuate Biomedicine's Biomedical Knowledge Translation Faucet. Together, we can make a significant impact on healthcare and public health. Learn, earn, and contribute to a healthier future. Be a part of the change. Transform knowledge into action with Actuate Biomedicine. Welcome to Actuate Biomedicine's Biomedical Knowledge Translation Faucet. Our mission is to bridge the gap between scientific research and practical healthcare applications, ensuring that the latest advancements improve patient care, health outcomes, and public health. Biomedical knowledge translation involves turning cutting-edge biomedical research into tangible solutions for healthcare systems. At Actuate Biomedicine, we specialize in this process, ensuring that scientific breakthroughs reach those who need them most. We host our Learn to Earn sessions every Tuesday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. East African Time. Each cohort participates in an 8-week program designed to guide learners through the 7 stages of biomedical knowledge translation. The 7 stages include exploration, where we identify new research and innovations; evaluation, assessing the potential impact and feasibility; planning, developing strategies for implementation; development, creating practical applications and solutions; implementation, integrating these solutions into healthcare settings; another round of evaluation, monitoring and assessing effectiveness; and finally, distribution, ensuring wide access to the final products. Our learners gain in-depth knowledge and practical skills, empowering them to translate biomedical research into real-world applications. Through our program, we aim to foster a new generation of experts who will drive advancements in healthcare. Join us at Actuate Biomedicine's Biomedical Knowledge Translation Faucet. Together, we can make a significant impact on healthcare and public health. Learn, earn, and contribute to a healthier future. Be a part of the change. Transform knowledge into action with Actuate Biomedicine. Welcome to Actuate Biomedicine's Biomedical Knowledge Translation Faucet. Our mission is to bridge the gap between scientific research and practical healthcare applications, ensuring that the latest advancements improve patient care, health outcomes, and public health. Biomedical knowledge translation involves turning cutting-edge biomedical research into tangible solutions for healthcare systems. At Actuate Biomedicine, we specialize in this process, ensuring that scientific breakthroughs reach those who need them most. We host our Learn to Earn sessions every Tuesday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. East African Time. Each cohort participates in an 8-week program designed to guide learners through the 7 stages of biomedical knowledge translation. The 7 stages include exploration, where we identify new research and innovations; evaluation, assessing the potential impact and feasibility; planning, developing strategies for implementation; development, creating practical applications and solutions; implementation, integrating these solutions into healthcare settings; another round of evaluation, monitoring and assessing effectiveness; and finally, distribution, ensuring wide access to the final products. Our learners gain in-depth knowledge and practical skills, empowering them to translate biomedical research into real-world applications. Through our program, we aim to foster a new generation of experts who will drive advancements in healthcare. Join us at Actuate Biomedicine's Biomedical Knowledge Translation Faucet. Together, we can make a significant impact on healthcare and public health. Learn, earn, and contribute to a healthier future. Be a part of the change. Transform knowledge into action with Actuate Biomedicine. Welcome to Actuate Biomedicine's Biomedical Knowledge Translation Faucet. Our mission is to bridge the gap between scientific research and practical healthcare applications, ensuring that the latest advancements improve patient care, health outcomes, and public health. Biomedical knowledge translation involves turning cutting-edge biomedical research into tangible solutions for healthcare systems. At Actuate Biomedicine, we specialize in this process, ensuring that scientific breakthroughs reach those who need them most. We host our Learn to Earn sessions every Tuesday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. East African Time. Each cohort participates in an 8-week program designed to guide learners through the 7 stages of biomedical knowledge translation. The 7 stages include exploration, where we identify new research and innovations; evaluation, assessing the potential impact and feasibility; planning, developing strategies for implementation; development, creating practical applications and solutions; implementation, integrating these solutions into healthcare settings; another round of evaluation, monitoring and assessing effectiveness; and finally, distribution, ensuring wide access to the final products. Our learners gain in-depth knowledge and practical skills, empowering them to translate biomedical research into real-world applications. Through our program, we aim to foster a new generation of experts who will drive advancements in healthcare. Join us at Actuate Biomedicine's Biomedical Knowledge Translation Faucet. Together, we can make a significant impact on healthcare and public health. Learn, earn, and contribute to a healthier future. Be a part of the change. Transform knowledge into action with Actuate Biomedicine. Welcome to Actuate Biomedicine's Biomedical Knowledge Translation Faucet. Our mission is to bridge the gap between scientific research and practical healthcare applications, ensuring that the latest advancements improve patient care, health outcomes, and public health. Biomedical knowledge translation involves turning cutting-edge biomedical research into tangible solutions for healthcare systems. At Actuate Biomedicine, we specialize in this process, ensuring that scientific breakthroughs
Hello, everyone. Let's get started. Hello, Frida. Hello, Grace.
Hey, Doc.
Yeah, the people here. Let's get started.
I can see Grace.
Mhm. So, Grace, let's start it.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm sorry for being late. Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all well. This is cohort 2. Today is when we are going to begin our cohort 2. We're going to be measuring on quadratic funding in biomedical knowledge translation. Apply the quadratic funding in biomedical knowledge translation. So we can start with the meeting agenda for today. We're going to start with the introduction to the meeting by Master, who is George Owino. You can see he's in the meeting, and then from there, Doc will be giving additional notes. That is additional question and answer session, and then we can conclude the meeting. So without wasting time, I want to first innovate funding mechanisms. One this time on to come George to take us through that. Then
Unless you're inaudible, we
Thank
can't
you
hear
very
you.
much.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm just confirming if the team can hear me right now. I was also having some difficulties getting what Madam Grace was putting across, but we had talked earlier, so I think she was introducing me so that I could take over and at least present what was prepared for today. If you can get me clearly, I think you can just react maybe by a thumbs up so that I can be sure that we are communicating.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you very much for that. And when Grace shared with me previously that the next we are to be exploring quadratic funding in biomedical knowledge translation, I thought this was a good idea. I said it was a good idea. And actually, this learning process has been very, very okay. It started with the biomedical knowledge and currently now at quadratic funding, and we are checking on it into depth. If I may just share a screen of what we had prepared today, I will share with you a short view of what we have today. And I hope you are just confirm the same. Everybody can see what I am sharing with you.
Yes, we see.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. Now, exploring quadratic funding in biomedical knowledge translation. And previously, I think I took the team through in biomedical knowledge translation. I had a session previously, and we checked on it that it is translating discoveries into practical applications. Those are the biomedical information, putting them into action. And we checked on process and the appropriate process and strategies of putting the biomedical knowledge into action. So one such mechanism of now funding these processes becomes the quadratic funding. We understand very well from the previous sessions. And now because of this funding, we can have a democratic and efficient way to allocate resources, particularly in a context where community preferences are diverse and complex. This one means there shall be a needs assessment to be taken. The needs assessment will be taken in a particular community so that it will determine the nature of funding that this community can get. Let's understand more about quadratic funding. This mechanism is designed to optimize the allocation of funds based on community preferences. As we had said earlier, their needs assessment and the needs are checked in terms of priority. There is community contributions. So individuals contribute funds to various projects or initiatives they deem valuable. These contributions can be as small or large as the contributor desires. Then we have a matching pool. A matching fund pool is established often by larger institutions or donors to supplement community contributions. So definitely the community contributions must have an objective. These objectives will be checked by the matching pool so that they have to be dealing with a similar objective. Then the quadratic matching formula. This unique aspect is that the smaller contributions from a larger number of people can outweigh the larger contributions from fewer individuals. Thereby, there is democracy now in the funding process. So how are we going to apply this in biomedical knowledge translation? Actually, we now have our information. There is a research that has been done. The findings are out. Now, after we have the findings, what are we going to do? We are going to put these findings into actions. Putting this funding into actions actually needs some kind of funding. I think that is what we are talking about currently. And you know very well that biomedical knowledge translation also have got challenges like challenges and bottlenecks, misalignment of research priorities, and difficulties in engaging in a broad range of stakeholders. Maybe the stakeholders are limited Some may even reject the agenda that is put across. So the quadratic funding actually is going to check on the difficulties in engaging a broad range of stakeholders, and will give an aspect where stakeholders could be reached and actually could be part in implementation and funding of these projects. So there is inclusivity and democratization in quadratic funding. So, and it empowers diverse group of stakeholders, including patients, clinicians, researchers, and the general public. This is the stake. Those who have a stake in something, they're actually the stakeholders as well. Now, there is a debate that actually the quadratic funding shall be giving out so that the democracy part is reached and everyone's voice actually is heard. There is enhanced collaborations. The quadratic funding actually opens ways and avenues for meeting stakeholders from different social and actually and also different scales in implementation of the projects. So projects that resonate with a wider range audience are more likely to receive substantial funding, promoting interdisciplinary and cross-institutional partnership. The same even happens right now in some other fundings, but the level is very, very limited. Here, quadratic funding actually opens it up, and collaboration is made easier. And aligning research with public health needs. The funding models before were prioritizing high-profile projects or those with significant commercial potential. This project can bring money. This is then what we go for. But on the other side, quadratic funding ensures that projects with genuine public health impact but lower commercial appeal can still receive adequate funding, aligning research efforts with public health priorities. That is now the difference between the quadratic funding and the normal funding procedures that most researchers and even most policies were adopted with. Incentivizing innovative solutions, because actually innovations, from what we are seeing currently, there are innovations, and the quadratic funding actually match the formula benefiting innovative solutions that may initially receive smaller contributions from a dispersed but enthusiastic community. This also encourages the pursuit of novel and potentially transformative research avenues. So that is how quadratic funding will be addressing challenges. The challenges here for the quadratic funding, we have seen how it is addressing the challenges that are expressed in a biomedical knowledge translation. Now, the challenges of the quadratic funding itself are the complexity and understanding. I think it has taken even among the team here right now, it has taken quite some time so that people understand the quadratic funding system and actually the mathematics that it's involved in it. I think if you can understand the quadratic formula in this was in high school, the quadratic formula in mathematics, I think it's the formula that is being used to identify the nature of funding that is needed in the quadratic funding. So there is complexity and in understanding, and I think it's for certain part of people, and more knowledge is necessary so that people understand it better. In the implementation and management, establishing and managing a matching pool, ensuring transparency and preventing manipulation of gaming of the system require robust governance and oversight mechanisms. I remember the previous time we had to check on the transparency, manipulation, or gaming in the systems that are all in it. That is a very big challenge. Then equity and access. Ensuring equitable access to the funding mechanism and preventing the dominance of well-resourced groups or individuals is crucial for maintaining the integrity of the process like we are currently. So ensuring that may not be easy, but I think there are issues that can be addressed if the system is going to add value to the research findings in biomedical fields. In conclusion, quadratic funding offers a compelling alternative to traditional biomedical funding models, fostering inclusivity, collaboration, and alignment with public health needs. Just like the other day, I did not actually attend that session, but there was quadratic funding in tree planting, something like that. And I think that one is the conclusion that we are making here around. That is what Grace shared with me so that I could share with the team as well. And I thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, Madam Grace. I will ask if there is anybody with a concern, any addition, or any question to raise so that we can check on it as a team. Thank you very much, Madam Grace, and I come back to you.
Grace is silent. Hello, Grace. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Winner. This is Masharia, quadratic funding. Grace, can you hear us?
Thank you, Doc.
It seems she dropped off.
Oh, she dropped off. Wow, she was having bad connection. I didn't even hear what she was saying in the beginning. All right, so we are now getting in the second cohort of biomedical research translation, and you could say that's the second term, second session. And thank you so much, Wino, for teeing us off in this session. You know, there's nothing more difficult to find as biomedical translation. It's very, very hard to raise money for biomedicine in Africa because, and you all know it, there are people who are in this world who do not want people in Africa to know how to create medicines or biomedical devices. That is the truth. We cannot do it. So how they make sure we don't do that is to put strangulation mechanism in the traditional finance system. It's impossible to raise money in Africa for biomedical innovation if you're in Africa. Very, very hard. Because, you know, traditional financing for biomedical translation done through the traditional financing system happened through the capital markets in Europe and the United States. Now, if you say you're in Africa and you want to raise money for medical innovation, they will laugh you out of here. I mean, they can laugh to them and say, "Hey, what is that? What are you talking about?" That nobody does anything like that in Africa. But not only do they that, not only they do that, not only do they laugh, they make impossible international regulations that if you're in Africa, you cannot do anything in terms of biomedical innovation. So the only source of biomedical innovation funding comes through small grants here and there, and you receive maybe $1,000, $10,000, or even some maybe $100,000 for large funded projects in the universities. But those are just grants. $100,000 won't cut the mustard. They're just for paying you to collect data, and then they come and take all that data, take it to Europe or United States. So let us say they only spend money when they are harvesting knowledge. Your knowledge, our knowledge gets harvested in broad daylight, gets taken away. That's the only money available for when they can harvest our knowledge. And they only harvest that knowledge for the diseases that matter to them. those diseases they want to investigate are those diseases they consider of commercial interests, as Mr. Winner said. Other diseases, because they don't consider them to be of commercial interests, they are not going to finance them or even give grants. So in the recent years, you have seen maybe vertical disease financing. Say we can get large scale financing for malaria, tuberculosis, HIV, and just maybe a few, maybe it's about five diseases which they call diseases of global health concern. Well, what's a disease of global health concern? It's a meaningless statement. There's nobody who lives in global health. Everybody lives with himself wherever he lives. So where you live is your global health, because the health is global as far as you are concerned. Your own health, individual health. So individual health is global health. But there are some people in this world who say there are certain diseases that are of global health concern. You can see what a big contradiction that is, meaning that if you take care of these 3-4 diseases, then the world is going to be healthy. It's totally misguided. Now, if you take care of somebody with malaria, and that malaria causes kidney disease, then you don't receive any help for the kidney disease, but you can continue getting help for malaria. All the kidney disease is killing you. See? Also, for example, you get cerebral malaria, the malaria goes to your brain, and then you start having neurological problems. But those neurological diseases secondary to malaria are not in the purview of the malaria project itself. So the complications of malaria are not included in the traditional financing model. Or you have another disease like asthma. And asthma is not a disease of global health concern, but if you get asthma, your entire world is important. I mean, the disease is very important to you as the entire world. So global health to you is the asthma disease, but then to the people who provide all these vertical financing programs, they're not concerned about asthma. So asthma can be ravaging people, but then those are not diseases of global health concern. Or even diseases like high blood pressure. High blood pressure is not a disease like of global health concern. So if you get high blood pressure, you're all on your own. So you see, there's a full range of diseases such that a human being does not suffer from a disease of global health concern. It's an exceedingly misguided idea. Can't even imagine. So, but see, so the funding was structured that way. And why such diseases they're said to be of global health concern? That narrative is driven by the pharmaceutical industry. They're trying to see where they can make the maximum profit. It's about maximum profit maximization, so that or you call return on investment, such that people who are funding that disease, interventions for such a disease, they are looking for how much money are they going to make. So really, the truth of the matter is not that it's a disease of global health concern. The truth is, how much money are we making out of this disease? You see? So if we say that we cannot make as much money for investing in high blood pressure treatments in Africa, or for investing in asthma therapies in Africa, or investing in cancer therapy in Africa, then there's not going to be funding. That doesn't mean cancer, asthma, hypertension is not a serious problem. See, so you see, this narrative is driven through the World Health Organization, and this is what makes now a new democratic way of funding, raising funds. Democratic way of raising funds becomes very, very important, because people can raise money in the new era of the blockchain, raise money for problems that matter to them, not problems that matter to those people who talk about global health concern. So it's raising money for particular problems in the community. and that is quadratic funding. Quadratic funding comes in different flavors. There's the original quadratic funding made by Kevin Owoki, and then we have the new quadratic funding, which is called retroactive public good funding. So it's public good. And you see the word public health has got the word public in it. Public health is public good, meaning the public good is something that when we consume, we can consume together without competing for one another. Something like what? Oxygen. When you're breathing air, fresh air, you're breathing fresh air, and I am breathing fresh air. We are all benefiting from that, but because I'm breathing, it doesn't mean I'm reducing the amount of air that's available to you. So it becomes relevant for us to make sure that the air is always clean, all of us, because this is non-competitive and generally inclusive. That's what's called a public good. A private good is something that when I have it, you cannot have it. For example, if I have a loaf of bread, if you go to the supermarket and there's only a limited number of loaves of bread, so if people came and bought all the bread, or one person bought all the bread, there'll be no bread left for the other people. So that's a private good. And you see, private good is different. So health itself, health in general, whether it's kidney health, mental health, chest health, respiratory disease, all that is public good. Why is health public good? Because when people are healthy, they tend to be productive, all of them together, and the economy improves. So health is not a private good. You have health that is up to you as an individual. You have your own health as a private individual, but keep in mind that health is not yours alone. Because when you're healthy, your brother benefits from your health. Your sister benefits from your health. Your mother benefits from your health. Or even if your wife, your husband benefits from you being healthy. And if you're a mother, your children benefit from you being healthy. And if you're a husband, your wife benefits from you being healthy. See, so health is not a private good, it's a public good. And so it now behooves us to think from that perspective. And that's why we talk about public health. It's not that health is a public thing like public projects like a highway project, but we are talking about you being healthy as an individual. That is a public good already. See, that's one thing that we want to appreciate, that health of an individual is public good. And so you cannot have some people in the household being healthy and other people in the household being unhealthy, and then you say that household is having a good time. It's not having a good time because some people in the household are not healthy. See, that's why health is a public good. Now it becomes, as we're starting this session, we're going to go through I think the six stages of translation, from exploration all the way to distribution. And we go unpacking step by step the quadratic funding mechanisms so that you can see how we are going to chart quadratic funding in the later part of this year. And then throughout next year, we shall be doing quadratic funding on a continuous basis for translation science. Okay, so this quadratic funding for exploration, because exploration is the first step in translation science. How do you do quadratic funding for exploration? That'll be the first lesson next week. Then we do, how do you do quadratic funding for exteriorization of knowledge? Then number 3, how do you quadratic funding for formalization of knowledge? Number 4, how do you quadratic funding for ideation? Then number 5, how do you do quadratic funding for prototyping? And then how do you do quadratic funding for manufacturing? And how do you quadratic funding for distribution? Now, in the earlier stages of knowledge conversion or knowledge translation, exploration, exteriorization, and even formalization, funding is extremely difficult. It's very, very difficult to raise money for exploration in in the traditional finance system. For example, if you're maybe a researcher, you have seen it's very hard to raise money for research, except a few granting organizations, and the grants are very, very competitive. And mainly those grants are offered either by governments, European governments, American governments, but hardly Kenyan governments or African governments would give grants for exploration, exploratory work. They don't do that. So there is almost absolutely no money for exploration in Africa. That you would call it a desert. It's a funding desert. And that's why many people who want to engage in exploratory work cannot get financing. They cannot get help. And they end up in the university as professors who are very, very frustrated. So quadratic funding will make all that go away. Because the reason why exploration, the exploratory knowledge, what you discover in exploratory knowledge level of knowledge, which is where you're diving into that space, which is the deep, in the tacit dimension, to get knowledge there, the products of knowledge you're going to come out with are not commercial ready. You cannot sell them in the marketplace. So it's like what you would call money for research and development. There is no funding for R&D research. Research itself is not available because it takes a lot of years for that knowledge now to become commercial ready or commercializable, to be translated into commercial products. It's very raw knowledge. I would say, it's like knowledge. It's like the money you would need to go and start prospecting for diamond mining. First of all, you don't even know where there's going to be diamonds anywhere. You have to go to the sub-Saharan, the continent, and go and check the landscape. All that work is very, very tedious and expensive. So there's no money for that in Africa. But there's no money because people who invest in money, you don't want to tell them what is my return on investment and why do I expect the returns. So if you tell them you cannot expect any returns in 10 years because we don't know how long it's going to take. And then the second thing, you tell them that it is highly likely that what we're exploring might never yield fruits, even in 10 years. So exploratory knowledge level of development, although it's very, very necessary, because you cannot build anything before you do serious exploration to find out what is available, then it means that things are not done because we don't have exploratory capacity. We do not have a capacity for funding exploration. And so next week, we shall be diving deep into exploration itself. And why quadratic funding makes it possible, particularly on the blockchain. Quadratic funding on the blockchain makes it very, very possible and feasible, is because of now this retroactive public good funding. Exploration itself is public good, because whatever you find out, that knowledge may not benefit you alone. It will not benefit you anyway, because you're not able to turn it into commercial product. But that knowledge in the future will become big commercial products, which can be sold in the market in the future. That is in the future. So that future could be 1 year, 2 years, even 10 years down the road. But you cannot get to say how much money you'll be making in the future because of that knowledge. Okay, but that's what prevents people from funding exploration, people who are interested in quick returns on investment. Now, the quick return of investment becomes disassociated with the project itself in retroactive public good funding on the blockchain. For example, in this type of things, in this funding, people, when they're raising money, they receive Actuate tokens. Okay. And the people who are contributing funding, we talked about matching pool. The matching pool are people contributing funding. Those could be high-profile investors who want to get their funding, their money back soon, but they can't wait for 10 years. But if they receive Actuate tokens, those tokens are already in the market right now. You see, so that whole thing, that collapses that period of waiting. Because the tokens are in the market, then the tokens can be trading already, and they actually have them, and they have already contributed the funding. So the period of time to wait for the funding to bear fruit becomes totally disassociated with the period of return on the investment, becomes independent. So the return on investment is independent from the project itself bearing fruit. See that? So people now are able to finance high risk projects like exploration stage projects. They can raise money for exploration stage projects and fund them, regardless of whether the exploration is going to create a product that is going to be able to generate a profit in the next few years. But these are impact projects that you can explore and discover knowledge that's going to be of high impact. Now I'm talking about the work that's going on in the universities today. A lot of that knowledge will not have any impact for the next 10 years. And so eventually people get frustrated. Even the funding organization, the people who give grants, do not want to give grants because they want results to show. But they don't have to worry about showing any results. Usually they want to show results to the market so that the market can reward them in the profit. But if the profit is removed from showing the results, then people don't have to be saying, oh, these projects are showing us no results. But people can fund projects that matter to them, no matter how long they're going to wait for those projects to bear fruits. But the market itself, the token itself is in the market, and that token is being traded in the marketplace. So long as the people who are doing the projects are sharing reports on a continuous basis on the work that's going on the ground. See that? That's the first thing. It helps to dissociate. And then that helps to democratize the funding process. So people can raise money for projects that matter to them. And the projects, now that money can be directed. And the people who are funding the projects, they're not worried about losing money because the money is in the market. And what they do is continue trading the tokens gaining value, and they actually make money as the token raises in value. So why it's called retroactive is because as that project it gets continuous support, and in the future it makes money, people find out they are making profit retroactively. Well, retroactive is the name by Bob Dresser. I don't know whether it's really retroactive. I see it still as very proactive because it is funding profits that in the future, but the profits are guaranteed. And unlike the traditional finance system, where people driven by profit, they did not know how to participate. And if they were funding a project like that, they would say, this money, we are giving it away. We don't care whether it comes back or not. So they do it as what's called philanthropy. They do it, they give, out of the goodness of their heart. But we know deep down, there is no such thing as people giving money out of goodness of their heart. They're still expecting something in return. And there's nothing better than the crypto now, the blockchain helping to give people their return on investment without having to make believe. People creating make believe stories that we don't expect anything. We are doing this for our own good. A lot of philanthropists only fund projects that are going to be very profitable for them in the future. Well, I hope that makes sense. So now you can see what's going to be happening over the next 8 weeks is that we're going to unpack this quadratic funding for each stage of translation. until we come to the very end. Then after that, we shall have built a quadratic funding platform where all of us here in Actuate Nation can participate in now putting up quadratic funding for projects in biomedicine in Africa. I think by the end of this, by the time of the conference, we shall have done that. Okay, so thank you so much again. I don't know, is Grace back? Hi, Grace.
Yes, I'm back. Today's network is a bit low. I don't know. My phone is not responding to the Zoom.
Oh, yeah. Now we can hear you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Doc. Thank you to our topic master, George. So at this time, I want to welcome anyone with a question or a comment about today's topic. And yeah.
Hello.
Hello?
I have a concern here.
Yes.
Yeah, can I ask a question to check about relationship between this quadratic fund and in relation to a matter concerning with the health organization, maybe?
Yes. Ask the question.
Yeah, relationship. I need the relationship between this quadratic funding with biomedical knowledge translation in health sectors. I need the relationship. How do we apply?
How you
Steps?
apply? You see,
Yes, how do we apply?
health organizations are organizations that raise money by. So this is a technology that's available for health organizations to raise money to fund their needs. And I think the traditional funding, the traditional organizations have been getting money through grants, particularly health organizations. This is a new way of funding health organizations, whether in biomedical science. So quadratic funding is a mechanism for raising money for all kinds of organizations, even health organizations. Okay? But we need to understand it in order to implement it in a health organization. Does that answer the question, Damien?
Yeah, at least I was need to those these steps. Maybe if you're doing like this, and if there is some steps or procedures to apply.
To apply quadratic funding is all it's all technology based. It's like the actual token. We have to build a platform. The health organization itself has to build a quadratic funding platform and then tell people to contribute money. It's collecting contributions from people. It's fundraising, okay, from ordinary people. This is not fundraising from big donors like Bill Gates Foundation. It's raising money from ordinary people that people can contribute $10 or $20, and then that gets it gets matched from a matching pool. So what this means is that if you're a health organization, you would have to create a quadratic funding platform. And to make it easy, a platform is just like saying creating a Facebook page. When you have a Facebook page, you invite people to your Facebook page to come and share messages and communicate and maybe listen to the ideas you're posting there. So it's similar to that. So it's a website. The platform is a website. You create a website where you invite people to come to that website or a web page. And in that web page, you have described the funding required. And you say that this project needs maybe 100 million Tanzania shillings. And then you ask people to start donating. Then there's a button there that says donate. And for every 100 Tanzanian shillings donated, A matching pool, money comes from a matching pool of donors. There's the great number of donors that would have assembled, but this is managed by the smart contract. So the smart contract allocates a square root of the 100 shillings donated multiplied by the number of donors squared. Yeah, that's the sum of all that. So as the sum of the square root of all the numbers of people donating plus the money they donate, and that is the money that's going to be allocated. So quadratic funding is an allocation procedure which allocates money from a funding pool. You find that in the quadratic funding ecosystem today, there's a lot of people who are donating money for projects. Okay, but that money is in a pool, it's in a smart contract. So if your project is now listed in the quadratic funding, it will be receiving, based on the number of donors who are contributing, local donors with small amount of money, the money is multiplied. It is square rooted, square root squared. Sum of square root squared equivalent. Yeah, this is not quadratic equation. And so it is not limited to anyone. So long as people believe in the project and what you are doing, they are going to finance it and they're going to help fund it.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. So how about those donors or sponsors? How do they benefit from the project that has been contracted?
So the donors receive tokens. That's how they benefit. And now you see this would be tied, for example, to Actuate token. When the donors, say a donor donates 100,000 Tanzania shillings, he received an equivalent amount of tokens. Those tokens, initially the tokens don't have value, but then they're put in the marketplace and they're sold. So the donors are holding tokens, crypto tokens, which are liquid. That's how they benefit from that. That's why I think
Okay.
the donors don't have to wait for the project to become published and all that. The donors are already making money because they're holding tokens. What it is like, it's almost as if they are buying tokens, but instead of buying tokens, they are donating money to receive tokens.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, you answered me because I published to my page there.
Yeah.
And I received some of the questions from my friends because there are some of my friends are from different NGOs. So
Yes.
they were asking a lot of questions. So I got some confusion about this, but I've been trying to my best level to explain it for them. And those are the questions that they were asking. And because you have a lot and I've got some knowledges and some skills here, so I'm going to tell them, and I always share the link to study there to the Actuate about the biomedical knowledge translations. So I think they get some points and views. So because of the clarification today, so I'm gonna explain for them and I'll come back with some feedback. But if there is another issues of formatting structure, you can share me through WhatsApp so as I can read it more, so as I can get some good understandings about this. Because here in Tanzania, many friends were asking a lot of questions. So because of that, it will help me so much. So as you can connect them even on December, if they will come for the summit, it will be so good if we invited them.
Yeah, I think we can invite them. I think one way is first of all, to invite them to the Actuate Nation so they can be part of the conversation on LinkedIn. Are you able to add them to the Actuate Nation, or maybe someone can help you? Here in our team, Grace can help you add them to the Actuate Nation.
I can help him.
Yeah. So with this be part, because this is a broad conversation we have to spread throughout the entire Africa, because we have been strangulated in a manner of fundraising. We are not able to raise money for big capital projects. And now what you're saying is that we can now use Actuate token itself for this quadratic funding. And this is what you're going to use to do over the next in the next few months, we're going to create the platform as I described to you, and people can go there and raise money, and then they can list their own projects, and then they can raise money from their own community and for their own project, for their own, projects that for things that matter to them. We can.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor.
Mhm. All right, thank you. Thanks for that, Damian.
Thank you so much, Damin. Damin, you can text me on my WhatsApp. I will guide you on that. Anyone else with a comment or a question, you can also feel free. Hello, Doc.
Yes.
I don't know whether
Okay.
George, you can talk.
Thank you, Madam Grace. But I just had a question for an example of this quadratic funding. There's a site, Doc, I was checking on called the Belmont Forum. If you can just be with me in that site, and then you could check if it is one of these designs of the current quadratic funding system. If you could just check so that I can be assured that it is one of the systems of this quadratic funding system from the site belmontforum.org.
Oh, Belmont Forum. I don't know. Well, we're gonna check. We'll respond to you back later because you're going to go into the next lesson, East African Women in DeFi. You say Belmont Forum, BE?
It's BELMONT is and then forum FORUM one word.org. Or I can just share the same in the chats, the link for the same in the chat so you can check it as.
Yeah, I'll check it later, then get back to you. But right now, what we're going to do is we shall adjourn this meeting so we can prepare for the African Women Decentralized Finance. But what do you think? Then I'll get back to you.
Before we adjourn the meeting, I've not yet.
Oh man, Grace is having serious technical issues there. Grace, Grace, did you share the form? I don't know. Okay, Grace is having serious technical problems. So what did she say? Grace. Such serious technical difficulty. Grace, we need to find out why your network is so bad. What is it? Is it Safaricom, Airtel? Well, I hope she's Frida. Do you know if Grace shared the form?
Yeah, she'll shared the form.
Yeah, because she's not audible at all. Oh, can you guys hear her?
No.
So yeah, one second, Frida. What's this BelmontForum.org? Have you clicked into it?
No. I'll check it out.
Yeah, we'll talk about it because I think we're going to be late for the East African Women in DeFi. if we go into something new, but we need to evaluate it. Thank you so much, George, for this lesson and for the Belmont Forum. We'll evaluate it, and so we can see whether it is it is actually administering quadratic fund. By the way, I live in Belmont. Maybe these guys are my neighbors. You find them. It's here in Belmont, Massachusetts. Okay. So let us adjourn this meeting so we can go into the prepare for the East African women or the African women in DeFi. Okay. All right. I think Grace dropped. I'm thinking what she's having is a serious bandwidth problem. Maybe her provider, she cuts down the bandwidth, so she needs to get another provider, the internet service provider, like Safaricom or Airtel. All right. See you all in the African Women in DeFi.